Deafrowe with Deafrowe TV, and I'm back again with another review. And tonight's review is going to be Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984. Now, before I get started on this review, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell so you can see all these reviews that I put out here, once a week maybe. I'm not going to bombard you with a bunch of reviews all of a sudden. So let's get started with a review of Silent Night, Deadly Night 1984, starring an 18-year-old, well, let's put Billy at 18-year-old, Danny Wagner. You do see Lena Quigley in this, although I'm not going to be able to show too much of her in this review because most of her is boobs in this movie and death. So I'll try to keep it minimum, but she is in it. A lot of her is in it, let's put it that way. And then, of course, you got Lillian Chauvin as the Mother Superior, Gilmer McCormick as Sister Margaret, with the one that tried to warn her, Robert Brian Wilson as Billy at 18 years old, which is the one that ends up dressing up like Santa. I said the wrong name earlier. I apologize. Danny Wagner is Billy at 8, not 18. Tony Nero as Pamela, the clerk that's in the toy store. Britt Leach as Mr. Sims, as the manager of the toy store. H.E.D. Redford as Captain Richards, the one that helped the nun try to track down this murdering Santa. And then you got Will Hare that plays the grandpa at the very beginning of this movie, the little creepy grandpa that tries to warn him about not bad, just Santa in general. And Tara Buckman that plays the mother, Ellie, at the very beginning. You see some of her boobs as well, so I'll try to get past that without showing too much in this review. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? This is Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984. Let's get started. As you can see, the nice little title page here, one of the pretty cool looking title page. And we cut little Billy here sitting in the back seat. This is Billy at 5 years old, I believe. Yes. And he's played by, says Jonathan Best as the 5-year-old Billy, and he's asking questions about Santa as normally they do at this age, because why not? And they're on the way to visit his grandpa, who's in a psych ward of some sort. So it almost alludes to the fact that maybe the family ain't quite all there in the head, and since this is the grandpa that they're going to visit, maybe not all of them are all that great. And there's the dad. There's the mother in the front seat holding the baby. Now, granted, they do say, hey, 1971. Apparently, they didn't have too many safety rules about having the baby in the car. So she's basically just holding the baby like in the front seat with her. Which I was like, wow. So then they end up at the Utah Mental Facility, which is where his grandpa is staying, and they put him in the rec room so they can go talk to him. And little Billy's just sitting there like, they leave, this is crazy, they leave little Billy sitting in that rec room by himself with grandpa while they go talk to, the mom and the dad go talk to the doctor. And then all of a sudden the grandpa just starts talking to Billy about Christmas and Santa and like, you gotta be good all year. You can't just be good some of the time. You gotta be good all year, or Santa's going to punish you. And Grandpa doesn't really allude to what kind of punishment that, you're gonna get. But just the way that he's speaking and everything is just creepy as hell. And you look at his face right here, and it just angry looking face. But he's not, raising his voice or anything. He's just talking to him normal. And then, of course, he's laughing at Billy for thinking like he's going to get away with nothing happening to him for Christmas. And then, of course, they're on the way home. It's dark, nighttime, and they're trying to make it back to the house. This is like Christmas Eve or something like that. Yeah, it is Christmas Eve. I don't know why I forget that. Now, and they're headed back home and everything, and then of course they cut to this shot of this Santa that just like robs this gas station and just like murders, straight up murders the gas station attendant right here, and takes off with the money and everything. Then something happens to his car, and that is the Santa that murdered the gas station attendant. And of course, he's like, "Hey Santa, can we help you out?" Totally catching him off guard. And of course, it's a bad guy. He's, not really Santa, but the kid, 5 year old, seeing Santa pretty much murder his parents for their vehicle, it's not going to sit well in life. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit here. Like, she pretty much murderizes the mother, shoots the dad in the head, cuts the mother's throat, and bada boom, bada bing, it's all over with. And Billy's 8 years old in an orphanage now. And he gets called to Mother Superior because guess what? He did a drawing of Santa killing his reindeer. and Mother Superior is like, we just going to have to beat the shit out of you just to get this out of your head. Like, I'm pretty sure this doesn't work. And of course, the other nun that's there. Let's see if I can get her up on the screen here. I believe it's. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, this nun here. She's trying to explain to the older nun, like, look, he needs like real psychiatric help here. He's drawing these type things because he's screwed in the head. At 5 years old, he saw his parents murdered by a Santa Claus of all people. You think he might need some really help, not just beat the shit out of him and say, hey, we'll beat the psycho out of you. Well, like, Mother Superior, your ways might not work very well. So that's how we go about doing this. And then of course he has flashbacks when he's walking in the hallway. The other what do you call it, the nun, or I don't know, whatever you want to call her, tells him go outside. Well, he goes down the hallway and he sees these two people making out in a room in secret, and it reminds him for some reason of what the Santa was doing to his mother, and he just freaks out. And of course the Mother Superior, basically caught these two youngsters playing in that room and punished them. And because Billy saw it too, she goes out to Billy and talks to Billy. Is like, I know you saw that. You shouldn't have seen that anyway. Go back up to your room. Don't come out. I want to spank you. And she whoops the shit out of him for drawing and seeing something he shouldn't have seen, even though it wasn't his fault on either occasion. So let's beat the shit out of him. Anyway, so that was the whole ordeal there, to beat the shit out of him. And then like that night he has like night terrors or whatever, or has nightmares or whatever. And instead of trying to console him, the Mother Superior, in all her infinite wisdom, decides to tie him to the damn bed, because that always works. So yeah, this movie just gets better and better. We go from murdering my parents with Santa and the orphanage torture. Great stuff. Christmas movie all over if I ever saw one. And of course we come to Christmas Day, and the Mother Superior, in their infinite wisdom, at St. Mary's Home for Orphanage Children here, decides to bring Santa, and Santa gets his nose punched in by Billy because Billy don't want to sit on his lap, and the Mother Superior is going like, oh, you got to sit on his lap and respect him or whatever. Like, no. And so he punches the Santa Claus in the nose and runs up to his room to hide. And as he's hiding in his room right there, Mother Superior decides to come up, beat the shit out of him again, because that seems to be the norm. Anyway, move on. It's Billy at 18 years old now, and this this mother here, or a nun mother, whatever you want to call them, trying to get him a job somewhere. And they run out of options of finding different jobs anywhere, and she finds him a job at guess you guessed it, a toy store. Now you would think, being a nun, and being the one that was trying to tell the older nun, like, hey, he has some real problems, we might need to get him some real help, psychiatric help. Let's go get him a job at a toy store. Because what comes around every year at a toy store? Christmas. And what do people do at Christmas time at a toy store? Oh, they just, come there and see all the decorations and the Christmas stuff. And maybe, certain toy stores have a Santa. So, yeah. Way to go, sister. So, as you can see, he's 18 years old. He's a big, tall dude. They put him in the room, and they put him to work at the stock room, moving the big boxes around, all that kind of stuff. And it's all going great at first, but like I said, it all comes to a halt when Christmas comes around. So yeah, they unfurl the little Christmas banner and everything, and he sees that Santa, and that's the first sign that something still ain't right in his head about the whole Santa thing. And so he starts to break down mentally as this plays out for December, and then it finally kind of comes to a head on Christmas Eve when the guy who regularly plays Santa, like, see, he's falling down because the guy who's playing Santa Claus is sitting over there, and he can't even look at him hardly, and just falls down. Anyway, then he has like a nightmare or something where he's like hooking up with her, and then like Santa just shows up out of nowhere and stabs him in the back or whatever. Yeah, that scene there. Let's just pass on through there, and then of course good old manager of the store. What's his name here? Mr. Sims here. He's being informed in this particular time that their Santa is not going to make it for reasons out of his control. And so they got to pick somebody else to play Santa for Christmas Eve, which is the last day that they're going to be open as a store. And probably the most profitable day, so they can't go without a Santa. And so, in Mr. Sims' infinite wisdom, let's go get the youngest guy in this room, in this building. And say, I still don't understand this, because here's my whole thing about this. Why did Mr. Sims not want to play Santa Claus himself? I mean, Jesus, man. So he goes and gets old Billy to go play Santa. Boom. And of course, the way he's looking in that mirror is like, this shit is not cool. And Billy's, slowly having a mental breakdown right here, pretty much. Basically becoming his worst nightmare. And of course, he's trying to get along with these kids who are not, being nice to him or whatever. And, then the nun, just for some odd reason on Christmas Eve, is calling the toy store, and the guy who runs the back of the toy store answers the phone. He's like, oh yeah, he doesn't work back here no more. He's being the old solid. He's being the old Saint Nick today. So yeah, and then she's starting to think to herself, that's probably not a good idea. So she's like, well, maybe I should go down there and just check up on him, But it seems like it's very far away for some reason, because she calls it looks like the middle of the day at some point, or afternoon or whatever, and doesn't really make it down there until the whole place has been closed and they've had a Christmas party already. It's crazy. Anyway, so moving along, they, the Christmas Eve is over, or the Christmas Eve hours for the store are over, and they decide to have a little Christmas cheer with alcohol involved. And of course, he's drinking, because That's what you do in a Christmas party. And of course, he's getting drunk and everything. And he's talking about Santa and all this stuff. Now, if you notice, this little shot here is a little bit grainier than the shots before. It's because this version of, and I hold on, let me pull this up real quick. I'll tell you the original version of this movie, the theatrical or whatever you want to call it, because didn't obviously go see this in theater. I was too young. The original was 1 hour and 19 minutes. If you go buy the Blu-ray of this movie now, you will get the uncut version, where they have tried to put snippets of film that were cut from the original movie. And to be honest, I kind of like seeing these bits and pieces because they add a little bit more to the story. See, we've got yeah. So anyway, he's talking about Santa, how you should be Santa, how you should be thinking about your parents tonight, and all this other stuff. It's not looking good. So I mean, it's getting kind of weird here, and you can see on Billy's face, he's like kind of losing it more and more as the night goes along, and yeah. But anyway, as you can see from the graininess of this is one of those cut scenes that they added back to the original film. And the reason they left it kind of grainy like this is so you can see the stuff that was kind of like edited out from the original release, which was 1 hour and 19 minutes long. And the original, if you had left it uncut, the sucker's almost like 2 hours long. So they added quite a bit of film back to this movie. So I recommend if you want a good set of horror movies or slasher horror movies for Christmas, is get the Blu-rays of this entire there's 5 of these movies, which I plan to review all 5 of them for this Christmas season for you guys for these weekends coming up, because that's what I do. Yeah, but yes, I highly recommend this film series if you want to watch some pretty weird and cool, in my opinion, horror Christmas movies. So you can get all 5 of these in a Blu-ray packaged, and so far I like them, especially with the added footage, the stuff that was edited out before. So we get into this, and yeah, he's talking, and of course the other guy, the other stock guy in the back, he's trying to make his move on the what's her name in this one? This will be Pamela, which is the one that Billy has a crush on, and he's trying to make his move. The stock boy in the back's trying to make his moves on Pamela, and Pamela's not having it really. And yeah, so he pretty much tries to rape Pamela, and then Billy shows up. Oh, see, I got it. And murderizes old dude for, like, basically strings him up with a set of lights. Trying to not get around those. Yeah. So murders him and then murders Pamela too, because she started calling him like crazy and all this other stuff, and just basically sticks like a razor blade in her gut. And then old Mr. Sims comes back there. Well, I heard a sound, and like he gets a nice little hammer to the head right here, as you can see. And then the only person left is the one employee left is like another register lady, and she finally comes back there to see what's going on, and she finds old dude with a hammer in her head. Let's see. Let's go back a little bit. Yeah, he gets there. Boom, boom. So she finally goes back there. She sees him, and as you can see, Hammer in the head. Right there. Boom. So, yeah. And then she tries to escape, and then he gets her with a arrow, I believe, right here. And it's one of those practice arrows too, so they're like pointy but blunt. So that he had to pull that sucker hard. I mean, right through there, gets her. So murderizes all the employees of the toy store, and of course the nun shows up afterwards. It's like you're a little bit too late to stop this carnage. So then you go on and you got Lena Quigley's character right here. Just one of the few that I can show you on here because she doesn't have her shirt on for the most part of this scene. So basically I want to tell you right now that what happens to her is he basically just, for some odd reason, I don't know if it's because this is like the nearest house to the damn, toy store or whatever, he just decides to go into this house, calls these two naughty, picks her up and throws her up on a freaking taxidermied deer head, and just basically impales her on it. And then old dude right here is trying to make out with her, throws him out a freaking window, and of course, like, pieces of the window are not like shattered. The window doesn't shatter, it just kind of breaks apart in big chunks, and it ends up like impaling him on the way down. So I'm gonna try to skip over this part with too much. So now he's fighting him, of course. And I had to, like I said, I had to skip a lot over that part because, like I said, she's not wearing a shirt for the most part. So, like I said, I recommend getting these if you want to watch Lena Quigley again. She's fairly not pretty in this one. Well, she's always pretty. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so the little girl that's in the house though, he goes up to her, is like, "You been naughty anytime this year?" And she's like, "No." And he's very adamant about it. Like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you haven't been naughty?" And he's kind of like pulling out that blade and waiting for her to go, like, "Well, there's one time," but she's adamant about saying, "No, I've been good all year, all year." So instead of stabbing a little girl like I think he would have done if he figured out that she was naughty a little bit, he basically just hands her the razor blade and just smiles and leaves, which is so weird. So then we move on, and finally the sheriff or the police are starting to catch on to what's going on, and they accidentally like break into this one house and almost shoot this other Santa that was coming into the house and trying to surprise his little kid or whatever, because they think it's him. So he escapes that, and then these two kids are this is kind of a funny scene, honestly. These two kids are basically just out having a good time, wanting to slay, and these other two a-holes like basically run them off and take their sleighs from them. So they leave, and the one dude, he goes down, and he's having fun and all that stuff, and they're drinking, being naughty. And so little Santa decides to take out some naughty guys that are outside party drinking and taking other people's sleighs. So the second guy decides to go down, like, "Oh, we're having so much fun drinking and beating little kids up and taking their sleighs." And he's going down. And of course he loses his head because what's his face was waiting on him. Oh, let's play this little chunk here. Oh, never mind. I didn't go back far enough. All right, here we go. See if I can just get it just right. Too much. No. All right, here we go. See if I can do this. Like, yeah, you got it. And of course, no, he ain't got it. So let's go. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I do it. I got it. Look at me. And this is not going to work out for him. And of course, he's going to He's like, "Woo! Look at me! I took a kid's slave. What they gonna do now? This ain't got nothing on me." There's Santa Claus. Gonna get you with his axe. Bloop, bloop. Head gone. That's so funny. Hey, wait at the bottom. Oh, there's a headless body coming down. So there you go. And of course, you finally get to meet the detective H.E.D. Redford. That's the guy who plays Captain Richards. And he's there at the police station or sheriff's station, I'm not sure which, talking to the nun about this whole thing. He's like, "I got news, and they're all bad news, basically." And the nun finally thinks she knows what's going to happen next. He's headed towards the orphanage to go back after Mother Superior for all the damage that. I mean, because the kid was already damaged in the head from what happened to his parents, and Mother Superior just probably, in my opinion, escalated that shit to the ninth degree, to the point where he could not function in real society by the time he got out of the damn orphanage at 18 years old. So yeah. Anyway, Mother Superior apparently is wheelchair bound now, and but still working at the orphanage somehow. And of course, the sheriff and the police department, they send out certain patrols to that orphanage to get there while they're on their way. While the detective is on the way with the nun or whatever. And one of the cops gets there and sees like a Santa Claus walking up to the building and thinks it's him, and then just shoots him in the back. And come to find out, it ends up being like the preacher, Father or something. I can't remember the name exactly, but Father something. And the reason he didn't turn around when the police officer screamed at him is because he's deaf. And so the police officer just shot him in the back right in front of all those kids playing in the front yard. Jesus Christ. And of course he's like, "Hey, I'm just doing my job." It's like, "Yeah, but you killed a damn preacher or whatever he was, or priest or whatever he was, because he was dressed like Santa, and he was deaf and he couldn't hear what you were saying. You shot him in the back 3 or 4 times." And Mother Superior's like, "The hell, y'all have done more damage than he has. He ain't even got here yet." And so, yeah, like I said, she's wheelbarrow. I keep saying on a wheelbarrow. Also, wheel her out on a wheelbarrow. She's in a wheelchair bound, and yeah. For some reason, she's still Mother Superior though. If she ain't, and as you can see, this kid right here, if you look real close, all right, you see the kids are all right here. The one with the little sweater with the collar sticking out to the right of the kid with the gray striped shirt is the younger brother, actually, of Billy, right here. But he's kind of crouched down in front of the couch right here, and he's kind of got a mean look at his. I mean, even if you're looking at this shot right here, all the kids have like a regular looking face, and they're kind of looking off in different directions, not really paying attention, a little bit here and there. But that kid has a laser focus on Mother Superior, and it is an angry looking face, because he knows who's coming, and it's his brother. Anyway, so we go further on. Yeah, the cop outside, he's like told to stay there because he could be still on his way, the one that they're trying to find, which is Billy, dressed up as Santa. And of course, he's going around the building doing what he's got to do, and he finds like this little outhouse area, or like a storm shelter or whatever. He finds out, hey, he could be hiding down there, and he is right. He was hiding down there, and he gets an axe to the chest, straight up. There we go. Axe to the chest. Right here. Like, boom! Yep, there you go. Axe to the chest. He's out of the game. Taken out by Santa Claus. And so, yeah, he decides to go into the orphanage. One of the kids lets him in because he looks like Santa. So he goes into the orphanage and he's about to take old. Now you look, all the other kids. I'll look real close right here. All the other kids are like, wondering, staring, all this stuff like this. But you look at Billy's brother right here. You see him with the sweater on and the collar sticking out, like a bluish black sweater. I mean, it's a pretty dark sweater. He's got the happiest face you ever seen because he sees his brother dressed up like Santa Claus, and he thinks it's the coolest thing ever. So yeah, this is not going to work out good for him either. So now he gets there, and he's going to take out Mother Superior. Like, all the damage that you caused me and all the pain you caused me and all the torture you put me through, I'm taking you out, Mother Superior. And he raises that axe up, ready to kill her. And of course, that's when the detective and the other nuns show up and shoot him in the back as well. And he basically, as he's dying, he's like, "You're safe now because Santa's gone. Santa's gone now." And then it finally cuts to, the brother. And he's got that mean looking face on him again. He's looking right at Mother Superior. Like she's some type of witch or something. And of course, in the movie, awesome stuff. Now, if I had to give this a rating, I mean, as far as horror slasher / holiday time watching, I'm going to give this sucker a solid 3 right down the middle out of 5. Because this is a very entertaining slasher. You do have the great Lena Quigley in it, showing off her assets. And the kills are pretty cool. I mean, as far as slashers go. Now, the only thing I didn't enjoy about this movie was the beginning bits where he's at the orphanage. Because, and honestly, I was like, man, these nuns are practically torturing this kid instead of getting him help. Well, that one nun is the Mother Superior, and by doing so, she's partly responsible for what he turned into, basically. But I don't know. So I'll give this. That's the only thing I really didn't too much enjoy about it, is seeing those bits with the kids and basically getting tortured by a nun almost. I'm not cool with that. But the 18-year-old Billy and the stuff he does, that's a fun slasher. I mean, sorry, I call it for what it is. Give it a big old solid 3. And that's my review of Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984. And I'll catch you next week out on the edge of another review. Deafrowe out.